Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Aussie Starcraft as we bring you a continuation in this series between our blue Terran player. Top left hand corner it's going to be CM Storm Polt versus our red Protoss player. In the top right hand corner it's going to be CJ Entus herO. So it's a Terran versus Protoss series, game 2 of the series. If you didn't catch game 1 you ought to go and check it out. It was quite excellent. We'll see if game 2 follows along in that vein. These two players, one of the best Terran and Protoss players in the world respectively, so I think we can expect a pretty epic matchup. Now, both our players tend to open fairly similar from game to game. Polt obviously always grabs supply depot, then his barracks and gas, likes to scout out with that early Reaper, ensure he's not caught by any nasty surprises. herO likewise tends to open the fairly same sort of gateway gas cyber core that you'd expect most Protoss to open in the current environment. Not adverse, certainly not like SOS, who's showed us some truly silly proxines and things thus far in the tournament. herO likes to go for a much more consistent playstyle, as does Polt, which should make this an excellent series. Both these players just love to play the game out very straight macro games, excellent micro on both players' accounts, so it should make for quite action-packed games. While we're waiting for it to get underway though, just a little bit of housekeeping for the channel. Welcome to our new subscribers. We've had a few of you recently. Hope you're enjoying your time here on the channel. If you do, we'd love you to share it with your friends on Facebook or Twitter or Reddit or whichever social media site you use. Likewise, if you'd like to join us and play some games, there is a group on the North American server called SEA Nanigans, after the Southeast Asia region, where a lot of us like to get together and play some silly games. We'll actually have an event this Friday night from 7 o'clock Australian Eastern Standard Time, so you're welcome to join in. Love to have you there. Going to have a lot of quite amusing games. Maybe mixing up with some arcade, some free-for-all, maybe some ice banelings and some other silliness, so you're welcome to join in and have a shot at getting one of your games cast on the channel. Looks like we're going to have Polt scouting out now with his first SCV. Likewise, herO are going to be checking for no pylons or whatnot behind this expansion, and I imagine we'll see a Nexus thrown down shortly. We have Polt's command center going down, Reaper just moving out now. Indeed, there's the Nexus, going to be picked up by this SCV very clearly, but unfortunately for Polt, all this SCV's told him is that the opening is relatively similar to last game, so no astounding differences in the opening thus far. He's still unsure what particular tech path herO's chosen. herO's shown himself adept throughout this tournament, going for either Stargate play, equally good with Robo, and certainly not shy about going for Blinkstalker play either. So we'll see just how herO decides to implement things. Polt going to be grabbing his second barracks. I imagine a third one will be on the way quite shortly. Likes to open with 3 racks, plenty of Marines, and grabbing quite a quick stim pack. So Polt, of course, has some of the best micro in the business. His multi-prong dropping is absolutely insane. So hence the reason why we often see Polt just tech up straight to that medevac point in the game. Just so dangerous once the game gets into that stage. So not a lot of deviation here from Polt. We can see a Robo actually coming down this time for herO. So unlikely to be the same level of Blinkstalker play that we saw in the last game. So mixing up for game number 2, always a good idea in a best of X series. You don't want to go for the same tried and tested build every game. You want to mix it up just a little bit. Throw out some builds and strategies that are particular to the map. Of course, Habitation Station is a little bit different to most of the maps in the pool. It does have obviously these high yield bases. Got to be checking those out like Polt is now. Don't want your opponent to sneak a high yield expansion and get way ahead of you economically. Forge going down now for some upgrades for herO. Stimpack just getting started around the 6-minute mark, so that will be done come the 9-minute mark, well in time for the medevacs and things that Polt's likely to get on the way very shortly. I imagine the next 100 gas will be sunk into a factory, and Polt will move fairly steadily towards that medevac tech. Armor upgrade on the way, fairly standard in a Protoss versus Terran game. You expect Protoss players to get armor before weapons, just because Terran units deal so much small increments of damage but in a high frequency, so the armor actually pays for itself quite quickly. A few Stalkers here to guard the ramp, but looks like herO hasn't actually started making any immortals yet, and the robotics bay still not on its way just yet. Oh, actually, just as we're saying that, just thrown down at the natural expansion. So herO going for some quite quick colossi. Stargates, of course, Starport, sorry, for Polt, not yet on the way. Factory just finishing up now, but it does leave Polt with quite a difficult decision. He has to decide, do I go for my Vipers, do I go for my Vikings or Medivacs? And for Polt, the answer tends to be Medivac first. So we have the factory building the reactor for the Starport almost halfway done, but first Colossus will be in production. And unfortunately for herO, this Reaper getting a great scout out as he moves through the base, has seen everything, seen the Twilight going down, seen the robotics facility and the robotics bay. So Colossi going to be on its way, but Polt will have every idea what's going on. Be surprised to not see another Starport come down in due course for some Viking production. A few gateways being added on here, and Twilight, will we see Charge or Blink come up out of this? And it is going to be Blink. It's certainly going to give herO an edge against potential Medivac Polt. Polt's so well known, this observer well placed out here. I think it is going to be instrumental in keeping herO alive long term. Polt moving out with his first forces here, going to be able to put some pressure on, slow down any third base. Look at this range of vision from herO. 3 observers out, there's no drops moving through that space. Of course the third base going to be quite difficult to take while these units are here, but short life expectancy for these units, as there are plenty of Protoss units on defense. If they move up this ramp, they will be taken out so quickly. Still going to be cleaning up this Marine, and Colossus is going to ensure that those Terran units can't actually get a whole lot done just as of yet. Factory deciding to try and take the watchtower. Always an interesting play when you see a building floating around in the middle of the map. Polt, of course, just trying to stall out this third base. Own third base almost completed now, so great timing on that third. Going to be taking it well ahead of his Protoss opponent. He really needs the gas there as well to be able to produce the amount of Medivacs and Vikings that he would like. Second Starport now on the way. Protoss ground weapons starting up, as well as extended thermal lance. So we have 2 Colossus in play and a third one actually making its way out now. So there's quite an obscene amount of Colossus. 2 at the 10-minute mark. Going to give herO the push he needs. He could actually put quite a lot of pressure on with a few warp-ins of units. There's still not that significant an army in play for Polt, particularly if one of these forces groups up and decides to go for a drop. Polt does love his multi-prong. You have a first control group sitting down here ready to drop or push. We have a second group ready to load up here at any moment. So just going to clean up the Zealot warp in, just harassing the third base. Nice multitasking from herO there. Certainly doesn't want those units to be caught out. This Stalker's going to begin the unenviable job of trying to shoot down the factory one shot at a time, and imagine he'll be there for some time. herO putting down a few cannons for static defense. I like this choice from herO, certainly a wise choice, particularly against a player of Polt's reputation. We have the first drop moving in here, going to be picked up by the observer quite quickly. Stalker's moving into play, and this could be quite devastating, and one of those picked off, so bad start for Polt as his first drop actually gets cleaned up there for free with the Blink Stalkers, and that observer certainly going to be making its money back for Polt. Polt scans to clean up. He knows exactly what occurred there, so unfortunately a little bit too late for that medevac full of Marines and Marauders, and 3 Colossus now starting to bear down on Polt here. Vikings now in production, but unfortunately certainly not sufficient quantity to actually threaten 3 Colossi. 4th Colossi now on its way. +2 weapons and armor being chrono boosted out now. If we check out the upgrades for our Terran player, we actually find that it's just +1 weapons, so Polt actually lagging behind a bit there, which is rather uncharacteristic of Polt. Normally we would be seeing 2-2 start at about now, but still only a single engineering bay, and that armor upgrade appears nowhere in sight. The gas instead going into these Vikings, and of course very important, second engineering bay coming down now along with the armory for those 2-2 upgrades. We have a substantial force moving out from here. 4 Colossi and a 5th being constructed, so there's quite an investment of Colossi here. We don't actually have a transition for High Templar on the field yet. The Templar Archive still not in production, so a sufficient enough Viking cloud will will actually cull a lot of this army supply quite quickly. We're going to have 30 supply worth in these Colossus. These Vikings certainly a big threat here. Polt can actually slow and kill those Stalkers quite quickly. Concussive shells already researched, so there's a lot of potential here. The only problem for Polt is he can wipe out these Colossus by the time that he does. This ground force will likely have been wiped out, as it can almost be 2 or 3 shot by this just massive group of Vikings. The Vikings do take down the first Colossus. Nice work there, and nice swing in from Polt here. Another drop actually allowing him to come in and cut off these forces. Main army now moving through. 2 of the Colossus have gone down. 1 is dropped to just a fragment of health there, but Polt unfortunately having to pull back. But some great multitasking there as herO tried to fall back away from the main army, but ended up being cut off by a force that was equally or greater in size than that from which he was retreating. So nice positioning from Polt, certainly able to drop a substantial amount of those Colossus. We are down to 3 from 5 Colossus. 4th one is coming out now, +3 still being chrono boost out, so herO is going to be at a massive upgrade advantage. 2-1 now on the way for Polt, but Polt's unit count is quite impressive. Still leading in supply, 162 to 157. And looking in fairly good shape. His positioning in that last battle was absolutely phenomenal. If he can keep that up, it will certainly do him favours against herO, because herO, while he can warp in units, he can't reproduce things like those Colossus very quickly, so needs to ensure that he keeps those alive. The Vikings can take care of that quite easily. So if we see the Viking cloud, we do have 9 on the field. It's not the most Vikings we've ever seen, but Polt just taking a few minutes to get the medevac count that he would like to keep this army in check. On 6 or 8 medevacs, we'll keep that army alive and healed through virtually anything. The High Templar archives now on the way now. Now on the way, it's going to complement herO and allow him to actually tech switch out of this very Colossus heavy build. 6 Colossi is just a crazy quantity for herO. It's all Colossi and Zealots. This is quite dangerous. Even a Widow Mine or 2 would substantially damage these Zealots and make life quite difficult for herO. herO's got his 3rd base up and running. Polt not taking a breath, has already got his 4th base under construction and looking to maintain the economic advantage that he's had thus far in the game. See Polt now starting to throw down some spare CCs out in the middle of the map. Even have a Ghost Academy on the way with 3 Ghosts, so the potential for these Ghosts to EMP these Zealots and cause substantial problems for herO. We'll just see how herO decides to position, but thus far in these games we've seen the positioning of Polt just to be far in excess of what herO's managed to show us. He's just got a very linear approach to just pushing across the map. I don't know that he wants to quite engage from this angle. It could leave the Vikings very susceptible to fire from these Vikings. They're just going to try and muscle their way up into the natural expansion, and herO's actually committing to this. Polt has pulled back here, is actually gone for a full-on base race, a drop into the main base of Polt, main base of herO. We see that herO's 3rd base actually being taken out. We're in a full-on base race scenario. These 6 Colossi are in play, but 2 Nexus have already gone down here as Polt just continues to clean them up. The natural expansion, well, not quite mined out, but it's certainly the only Nexus that herO has left, and it's a complete base race. So this planetary fortress down the bottom will certainly cause massive problems for herO as herO continues to try and engage us. The Colossi is all that really can take that out quite reliably. We have even probes being pulled off the line to try and work their way through. All Polt has to do here though is fly a few of these buildings away, and he could be in the clear. We look at the supply, it's dropped considerably for Polt. 74 supply to 118. It's a rocky start to this series as Polt looks set to lose his 2nd game, but it is the efficiency game. We noticed that Polt did go particularly after those Colossi, the only cost-efficient units in herO's army apart from this Archon. These Stalkers and Zealots just will not do nearly as well as things like the Planetary Fortress and the Medevacs healing the 2-1 Marines. So upgrade advantage still going to herO at the moment. His units, as you can see, well, 1 second. 3-3. The weapons and armor upgrades maxed out for herO, certainly helping him trade quite favourably. We see that Polt is massively supply capped here, 65 supply over 11. Likewise, we have our Protoss player 120 over 64, as both players have completely lost their bases. We have herO's last few pylons and assimilator being cleaned up this side. A solo marauder just slowly working his way through the pylons over on this side of the map. We have herO finally trying to re-establish his base, a massive armada of probes here, but herO going to make a move for this base, and ideally Polt would actually love to be in position here to defend it. These lots of SCVs going to be repairing here. Unfortunately, Planetary Fortress only going to be able to work down so many, and it needs to focus down as many of these zealots as he can. Actually fell remarkably quickly there. Oh, big hits on those Widow Mines though. Do kill several zealots, and great use of the Widow Mines, particularly in this sort of scenario where we see that our Protoss player doesn't actually have any observers on the field. I wouldn't imagine. No, the observers have been completely cleaned out, so these Marines, Marauders and Medevacs along with the Widow Mines can substantially reduce this army over time. So we'd love to see Polt move these around, get them in a better position where they can do even more damage as these zealots try to move out. Both our players have re-established single bases, and this is quite silly. A 24-minute mark, we're literally seeing a role reversal and a base swap as both our players have taken up positions on opposite sides of the map. Polt going for gold though, literally, as he drops another expansion, actually at the gold high yield, trying to pin down and pluck away from here. I like the use of these units, stimming up to ensure, oh, baits them into the Widow Mine. Great choice from Polt, and Polt just getting the best value out of these units. A drop here, just baiting these zealots out of the way, while a second drop actually moves in for the Nexus. Photon overcharge to the Nexus, but it's going to be too little too late. These Marauders are actually going to be able to drop this Nexus, and is this the last building of Polt? I think it actually might be this, whoa, no! What did he manage to throw down? Where's, oh no, not back, wrong tab. My mistake, guys. In the heat of the moment, we've gone back a moment. Meant to grab the structures tab there. We see one pylon and one assimilator. The assimilator's gone down. There's just a single solitary pylon now that base has dropped. We have an Archon here to guard the pylon, but Polt has the potential to snipe this. His units know it's in play, and these angry Marines and Marauders just barreling straight down the pylon. Will Polt win this insanely silly base race? And indeed he has. herO defeated, and Polt manages to even this up 1-1 in what has been one of the silliest base races we've seen thus far in this tournament. And I've got to say, we've seen herO in so many base races throughout the course of these series, and herO's seldom beaten in a base race, but Polt managing to pull it out there, is multitasking with those medevacs just absolutely top notch. So well played to Polt. My apologies, guys, I had a few misclicks during that game, managed to skip backwards once and got slightly distracted as Polt Doom dropped the third and the first, but that happens from time to time when you have games that are this crazy, action going on absolutely everywhere, easy to miss things. But hope you guys enjoyed it anyway. We will see game 3 in this series put up on the channel momentarily, so hope you guys enjoyed it. It's Aussie Starcraft, and I'll catch you in the next cast.